You might be wondering if now is actually a good time to make your purchase. And it's hard to ask a real estate agent that question because, of course, the answer is going to be yes, you should purchase now. Obviously, something is in it for them, right? But is right now really actually a good time to make a purchase? Or is what we're seeing in the market just a little indicator of what we're going to be experiencing in the future? In this video, I'm going to answer all of these questions and more as I tell you why I believe now is a better time to make your move despite all of the factors that may indicate or show otherwise. The end of the year and holiday season is always a challenging time to list and sell a property in general. Right around this time, you have everyone traveling, people that are spending a ton of money on gifts and buying things for other people during the holiday season, as well as the fact that it gets dark so early during the day that it gets a little bit challenging to see properties within their best light. But deals are still happening on a regular basis, and with some of the stats that we've been able to pull, it actually seems like in comparison to other winter months, not including last year as it was completely off base, we are still seeing a consistent trend of contracts still being signed here in the city and Brooklyn. And to make things a little bit better for the holiday season, we have started to notice a slight dip in interest rates over the past couple of weeks. A fluke, you say? Maybe they're gonna be starting to rise back up in the new year? Who knows? But if you have been prepared and been on the pulse with the market over the past couple of months, then you would be in the perfect position to take advantage of what could be a buyer's market. To the point of this video, what is a buyer's market? A buyer's market is a phrase that's best used to describe the best time to purchase real estate. Generally speaking, it's usually characterized by a surplus of homes being available on the market, higher average days on market, and a noticeable increase of price decreases for listings still on the market. Now, with that being said, I want to call out something that I think is pretty crucial about identifying whether or not you're actually in a buyer's or a seller's market. And that's the fact that I don't really believe that when you're in a buyer's market that you can identify exactly that you're in a buyer's market. New York City information is always delayed, and even the information that I'm sharing in this video right now, tomorrow could be completely obsolete with some new information or new data that we end up getting. We are getting our data from the prior month's closings. The information that is usually shared from the major headlines is a result of information that is shared with them, which is the result of information being shared with those sources, which usually comes 10 to 15 days after the closing of a month, which hasn't always settled or isn't always up to date within the month that we're receiving that information. Not only that, but when you're looking at sales in New York City, it can generally take about 30 to 90 days, especially if you're getting financing, for a listing to close. Clearly, there's a lag of information that we just don't really have or can't give to you until the opportunity actually closes, which means everything that we get in contracts signed is just a hopeful reflection of what we'll see over the next 2 to 3 months of closed deals here in the city. That's why for me, when I'm looking at data, I always make it a point to actually look at the contract signed information, because that's going to be an indicator of what we're going to see over the next several months, rather sales that may have closed 3 or 4 months prior. Another example of this, and pretty relevant to this conversation, is when we're talking about interest rates. And again, how they have had a minor dip from what they have been and what they did reach over the past couple of months while everyone's being distracted by Santa. Now it actually could be a really great time for you to go get locked into a mortgage and see what your options are when it comes to purchasing a new unit. I want to answer the ageless question of, is now actually a good time to buy and or sell real estate? Again, most real estate agents are going to answer yes, but there is an important follow-up question to ask. Why do you think now is a good time to purchase real estate? I've always said that what determines now to be a good time for a particular individual to buy is always based on their current situation and what factors are directly influencing their decision, as I've said in multiple of my videos that I've done before. You may be an investor that has tons of money in stocks stocks and bonds. You're wondering if you're ever gonna be able to use that money for something else, towards an asset that's gonna continuously generate you income on the regular basis and potentially afford you the opportunity to purchase even more assets that perform in the same way. If that's your case, I would say yes, it is a very good time to buy real estate. Or maybe you were someone who was really constrained by the interest rates. Now, because of the dip that we're experiencing, you may have been opened up to some of the previous opportunities that weren't available to you when interest rates were a little bit higher. That, in this case, would be a very good time to buy. Or you just sold a property and you need to do a 1031 exchange and you've only have until basically December 31st to get it all done. Well, that would mean this is an extremely freaking good time to buy. Am I starting to make sense to you now? Buying real estate, in my opinion, is always a good idea. But taking a look at the outside factors that are affecting you personally is what's going to determine for you if you're able to take advantage of certain opportunities as they are presented. But understanding your goals and the means to achieve them is going to be way more influential on your decision-making process than the environment or the market will ever truly be able to do for you. Now, here's the follow-up. When I say it's a good time to buy, the reverse question, obviously, from the seller's end is, well, it must not be a good time to sell, right? Actually, no. And despite all the crazy factors that we've experienced throughout the entirety of the year and the slowdown of general numbers that we're seeing in this holiday season, I truly believe that December is one of the best times to list your home. You shouldn't expect top dollar at a time like this. Again, there's less people looking, there's not as much competition among buyers, but again, you are still able to capitalize on factors like the interest rate starting to dip and the fact that anyone looking in December or the cold months of the year are going to have even more purchasing intent. Now, I get it. People are looking at real estate as stocks in the sense of they want to buy low and sell high. But at the end of the day, if you have a situation that's requiring to make your sale or determine when you are purchasing a home, maybe you have a lease ending, or maybe you have a job that's bringing you to another location, sometimes you don't have the luxury to wait or to hold on to the extra unit while you try to locate your next one. In those cases, taking the time to analyze, again, your situation and understand what's important for you now is going to help you determine whether now is a good time for you to sell. I'm not saying that now is currently a buyer's market, because we won't know that information truly until we look back 2 or 3 months down the line and see whether or not we've hit that bottom point. The best thing that you can always do to take advantage of any market is to analyze your situation, speak to multiple professionals that can help you get the job done from A to Z, and to just ensure that you have some insight and some numbers that show that whatever decision you're actually going to make is going to make sense for you. That is all for this video, and I just want to say thank you again if you've watched up to this point. If you haven't yet, please subscribe and like this video, share it with someone else you think might find it useful, and thank you for watching Easy NYC Real Estate, where I make New York City real estate easy for you.